What is up? It is, what is it? It's Friday. It's August 1st, 2025. Let's see. I am in my office. That's part of my warehouse. Kind of cool. Let's just jump right in. So, I am not going to spend too much time on anything, I guess, other than just FCI for today. And again, I think I'm just going to try to run through this pretty quick, right? So, let's see. Stock market, I mean, I'm always going to touch on it, probably. A little bit of a pullback today. S&P, QQQ dropped, round off maybe a couple of percent. But based on how far the market's run up and where it's at right now, like, cool, no issue. So, let's see. Haven't talked about TGYR, right? Our property management company and our Airbnb short-term rental business. No real major updates. It's kind of just floating through, right? So Jazzy manages all of that. It's kind of just holding steady, right? I think I did a little bit of a deep dive on why perhaps now is not a good time to get into Airbnb, into that business if you're not already in it and know what you're doing. And so we're just not spending a lot of time trying to figure out new things. I mean, Jazzy is of course always thinking about ways to optimize, right? Whether it's minimizing the expenses, are there ways that we can increase the revenue? Are the ways that we can, of course, take care of the guests a little bit better and whatnot. So she generally manages that through, but this is really about investing in the decisions that I'm making, right? And so we just haven't really been making any big decisions over there. So that's why I'm not talking about it too much. Same thing with Las Vegas. No decisions to make. They're just properties sitting there, right? No issues. Same thing with Turo. Right? We got the 4 cars. They are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are paying for themselves, and we get to take advantage of the tax write-offs. And of course, there's a little bit of equity being built in there as well. So cool. Oakstone, not going to spend too much time on it. I did post that we're officially opening up the round one of investing, but I did spend a little bit of time on that, I think, last week. And so there's no real sort of new update there. So that's fine. I guess the only thing that is kind of cool there is one of our managing partners, where we've all been splitting time trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what am I managing? What am I doing in my free time? And, some of the managing partners have had a little bit more time than others to kind of lean in and help out, depending on what areas need help. Well, one of my best friends and managing partners is going to be not continuing his career in tech, and he's actually going to go full time into Oakstone. And so a lot of his experience and a big part of his expertise is general contracting. I mean, he's probably flipped, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as many homes as I have, on much larger scales, bigger budgets. And he really, really knows what he's doing. And so the fact that we're right now going through phase one, and it feels like it's all construction related, man, for him to just jump in and take that on full time, it's, man, that's a blessing. So we're feeling really, really pumped. Even more excited now that, we're going to be able to stick to timelines and within budgets even better. Obviously, we've allocated, some additional time for going over budget, or I should say allocated money as part of the round of funding and part of the investments for going over budget. But of course, you have to account for delays and things like that too. So, but anyways, really excited that we're going to have someone full time leading into that work for the foreseeable future. So, okay, let's see. Floor Coverings International. I actually just drafted a post. I'm about to hit send on Facebook, and then I'm also going to do it on LinkedIn, where I haven't actually told anyone that I am officially the owner of Floor Coverings International in East Bay. Technically, I don't know why the original guys called it East Bay when, from my understanding, it's Tri-Valley. But either way, I've been sharing here, of course, about FCI the whole time. But, Lee, the guy that I bought the territories from to a certain degree, he was the owner. So I didn't want to go out there and say a bunch of stuff and then a bunch of people, who knows, maybe people knew him and it get back to him that I'm talking about acquiring his business before the official date had arrived. So anyways, today I'm going to announce it to everybody that as of July 15th, that's when I became the official owner. As mentioned, I took over the warehouse and the office space that he had, bought one of his vans, I bought his forklift. So why don't we do this? We'll do a quick walking tour um, of the space. So he essentially, this is kind of cool too. Lee gave me everything included to a certain degree for free. I guess he didn't really have anything else to do, so we got the office. Um, Maybe not up to my sort of level of design. We got old school. Everything here is old school, so that's fine, right? We've got desks. We got an extra desk. What do we got? We got some filing cabinets, and so that's the sort of the closed off office for me. You come in here. This is sort of the main. I guess it's kind of a showroom, but I don't know that I would really invite people over. It just doesn't really look the way that I would want it to look. I mean, it's got everything here is just old school, right? Anyway, it's got a little table if somebody wanted to sit. Of course, we've got some product samples throughout. And yeah, this is where the office manager sits. She is amazing, which I think I've said that a few times already, but she continues to really try to help me out and do as much as she can to bring in business too, which is really cool. Okay, so that takes up probably about 25% of the overall space. We got a bathroom, nothing fancy, and then we got the warehouse, right? So got a big old roll-up door. We got some super tall ceilings. Pretty typical, right? We've got lots of samples in here. We've got lots of samples in here. We've got a lot more samples in here. And it's mainly, I guess all of this is really sort of the hardwood, the real wood mixed in. And of course, if you know the difference between engineered hardwood and hardwood, that's kind of mixed in here as well. Different companies. And then once we get back out over here, a lot of this stuff, these are local. So Gaia, I'm learning, right? Gaia, this is a local company. And over here, we've got Parma, another local company. And these guys specialize, I mean, they do a little bit of everything, at least on the hard surfaces. But a lot of the product here that gets sold quite a bit is the luxury vinyl, as well as some of the laminate. And so that's some of the stuff here. I am a little bit surprised that they didn't do a better job of like, really? This is the floor you have in your showroom? Dirty old carpet, but whatever. We got some tile. Oh, we have not even a real kitchen. So hopefully maybe once things pick up and I have some more time, maybe I get some more people in here to help out, then we'll do some sort of a remodel. But I also haven't decided whether I'm actually going to keep the space. This space is, so when you buy an existing business, right? A lot of times there can be the option of, do you keep the business where it is, right? But you can't just buy the business and then automatically get the building that the business is in, depending on, right? Are you renting an office? Is it a warehouse? What kind of a space is it, right? Usually you're not going to get the space with the business. And so in this case, of course, had to work with the landlord. Landlord basically said, the prior owner, his lease was up in October. I could just take over his lease, which is what I did, which essentially means my lease is up in October. But I talked to them about re-signing and getting an extension from there. 3% increase, which is pretty much annual, pretty expected. And so no real issues there. But at least from my point of view, it allows me to now, if I wanted to go shop, I didn't have to go shopping for a new space and then have to move all of this stuff there. Instead, I'm able to come in, get comfortable with the business, and now I've got a couple of months if I want to go find another space. But so far, I like it here. Unless something really good comes along, I'm probably going to stay. What do we got here? Look at that. The mobile showroom. Dude, they didn't wrap the top? Nice. Anyways, hey, I'm a licensed contractor, right? But, so you have to have your license number, which you can see it's on the bottom there. And so I'm still going to have to get a new wrap. I got to update. This is the old wrap, so I got to get some updates. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but that's fine. And then I got my own forklift. Pretty cool. Yeah, they've got some extra space for storage. It's kind of interesting that, this business, and I've talked about it, it's really supposed to be about, going to the customers, right? So we have the mobile showroom. We bring all the samples. I didn't even show the man. Not that that's like a thing that I think anyone's going to get excited about, but Let's see, is the door open? Unlocked? All right. So you've got all these racks put in. Again, probably nothing special. But anyways, they've got over 2,000 samples. These boards, pretty heavy. So trying to unload or load your own car, if you had to go get a bunch of different samples all the time, would probably be a pain. I know a lot of the competition probably has, I don't know, from what I'm hearing, it's like 10, 20 boards. It's the same boards. They bring it to every customer and they just try to push it, as opposed to really trying to figure out what the customer actually wants. And so, let's see. Anyways, so that's the space. This is what came. This is what I acquired. The assets. Couple of things I'll touch on real quick that I don't know if they're like good or bad, but like, man, I've been spending so much time on so many different things that I still have not completed the SBA process. And some of those forms that they're asking for, it is a lot to fill out. I just got to get it done. But yeah, I have not officially completed my applications. So I've spent about $200,000 cash so far that hopefully once the SBA goes through, they'll cut me some checks back. One thing that was pretty cool is I joined a professional networking group. And when I say joined, I haven't necessarily joined. I mean, I visited a group yesterday. So the company that I guess I am going to be looking into is called BNI. I went to the website today to try to figure out like what does BNI stand for, because I think I've told a bunch of people that I visited one of those meetings yesterday, and I've been telling people it stands for Business Networking International, but I'm not sure. Anyways, apparently they've got, let's see, off of memory, maybe 350,000 or so members globally. They call them chapters. They've got chapters in every city, it seems like. I looked up the chapters they have here, and even just looking in Pleasanton, and by the way, yes, this warehouse and office is in Pleasanton. There's multiple chapters in Pleasanton. So anyways, long story short on this one, emailed a couple of guys, got introduced to somebody who is the president of this chapter. I believe even the BNI networks, I'm not sure how they work. It's part of a big franchising system. And so with BNI, they've got all the chapters. You got to be sort of introduced to somebody. They will then invite you to come join as a visitor. I went yesterday. It was a 90-minute sync. And here is sort of the recap here, right? So this chapter had about 20 plus people. And the president goes up. The first 15 minutes, it's everyone kind of walks around and talks. The first person I met, somebody came up to me right away and was like, "Hey, dude, what's up? Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Dave." "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I own a flooring company." "Oh, too cool. Oh my gosh, I own my own. I'm a second generation owner of a upholstery and carpet cleaning company." Boom. And next thing you know, we're talking about business. And so that was pretty cool. So that's the first 15 minutes. Then there was about 45 minutes to an hour of not presentations per se, but the president went up there, he had his PowerPoint, and I mean, they were on it. Like, first things first, cool. Everybody run through your 30-second infomercial. And everybody has to show up every week. It's like part of an agreement. I actually filled out an application because they invited me to fill out an application. I got to pay. So the total, there was some sort of like a 200 and some joining membership fee. Then there was the annual fee. And I think my total for joining for a year plus the $240, $50, whatever fee came out to maybe $700-800. And so I'm like, okay, so you got to pay to join this. And then even after you pay to join, they've got some strict rules, right? But it seems like it's very, very well organized, and it's designed for your average business owner to come in and just network with other business owners. I think they allow people that are also in sales. And as part of your agreement to be in there, you actually have to be sharing referrals back and forth. You have to be connecting with the people on a weekly basis. You have to show up to your meetings every single week for the full 90 minutes. And if you go, you have, I forgot, they give you like X number of absences you can have every year. And if you miss more than that, then like they might kick you out, no refund. Not sure if this gets you additional absences, but if you're not going to be there, then they prefer that you send somebody as a proxy. And so I saw a couple of people that weren't there yesterday, and a couple of proxies ended up showing up and speaking up. when the president was running through his deck, it was like every single person that's a paid member, their name is up there. And it was like, okay, Joe, go. And now Joe has 30 seconds to give his infomercial pitch. And the person, I forgot their title, there was a person there who literally had the iPad flipped around with a 30-second timer. Go. And if somebody takes longer than 30 seconds, the buzzer goes off and like, nope, next person. First, I didn't really get it. And then I realized that, this is likely just a way that it's rinse and repeat. Every week you show up, you do your 30-second pitch, and likely that is you just getting way better and better and better within 30 seconds of meeting somebody, or they ask you what you do, of how you can actually pitch your business to anybody you meet. So that kind of made sense. They gave me 15 seconds to introduce myself since I was a visitor. There was, I think, 3 or 4 other visitors in there yesterday. One person was allowed to do a 10-minute presentation on their business. And I think they do that every single week as well. Somebody else does a 10-minute presentation. The president went through stats. And so I was able to see that they actually have goals, and they have weekly goals of like, this is how many referrals we should all be doing each week. This is how many engagements we should have with each other. They're really big on everybody within that group really connecting. And I should say there's one really big rule. You can never have, and this goes across all of BNI, you can never have more than one person representing an industry per chapter. And what I mean by that is, when I was being introduced, they first had to check to make sure there was no other person in the flooring industry that was part of this chapter. These guys meet every Thursday in Pleasanton, and there wasn't. So I came in, and they're like, oh, we don't have a flooring guy. You're the new flooring guy, potentially. And then as I'm listening to everybody go through their pitches, it was like one person owns a painting company. One person, like I mentioned, owns a carpet and upholstery cleaning company. Another person, the president, who I guess owns the chapter or leads this chapter, is a real estate agent. Somebody else came in as a visitor. I guess they don't have a property manager, but somebody came in and, hey, I want a property management business. Somebody owns a chiropractic business. Somebody else owns a landscaping business. And so it's kind of cool. Some stuff I'm like, okay, chiropractor, not sure yet what the benefit would be, except unless they know someone's doing remodeling. But the upholstery guy, and I was talking to him, he's like, dude, do you know how many times I go into a home and someone's like, can you clean my carpets? And he's like, are you kidding me? No, I can't. I can clean them, and it's not going to bring them back to life. Like, you're going to be unhappy with my service. You need new floors. You need new carpets. So right away, we talked. I mean, we're going to go grab lunch, I think, either next week or the week after. But anyways, it was pretty cool. Everybody was super engaged. And then at the end, everybody had to go and go around table and say, give us your stats for the last 7 days since last week. What have you done? And people were like, oh, I referred 2 people to, this person. I referred 1 person to that person. And it's in the group. And they even did a quick education thing on like, what is a referral? A referral is not, hey, somebody I saw on Facebook asked about something, so I directed them to you. No, a referral is, hey, John, I want to introduce you to this person. Or I go to the upholstery guy and say, hey, here's somebody I spoke to. They gave me their information and they're interested in you reaching out. Can you reach out? That's a referral, right? So then you go around. I gave 2 referrals to this person and I spoke with so-and-so, again, inside that group. And so anyways, pretty cool. I filled out the application. I think it makes 100% sense, right? So, hey, if there's a few people in there that are going to be able to, refer a lot of business to me, that's amazing. They even track down to the dollar so that I guess if somebody refers somebody to me and I go do a $10,000, flooring installed job, then I'd probably log it somewhere, I'm assuming, and then that would go up on the stats and go, hey. And so it was pretty cool to see how engaged everybody was. Okay. All right, we're at 19 minutes. That's still a lot. Thought I was going pretty quick, but anyways, yeah, with that, peace.